Seen nationally, her first win, a televised game against UCLA. She has a rise, a curve, a deadly changeup. She throws in the upper 60s, can hit 70, but her upspin is truly special and allows her to get a fair number of strikeouts, but also keep hitters from being able to square the ball up.
Again, we saw Hofstra earlier today. That young lady caught that ball on the fly. They are refusing to record it as an out, however. Simply strike number 1 to Manto. Manto was 1 for 3 earlier today against Penn State.
Well, you see here, Lincoln starting early. Texas going ahead and doing some defensive schemes. You see Caden Henry, who's playing center today, over in left. Ashton Maloney, right fielder, now in center. But they have pulled Mia Scott in from left to play on the left side of that infield, trying to take away any possible hit from Chelsea Manto.
Right on cue, Kat Osterman. The defensive adjustment paying off. Count them, 5 infielders to help shut things down that time.
Now you quickly see Mia Scott head back to left field. But Manto right at Alyssa Washington. Washington able to just take a step, nice throw. Katie Sibbetts getting her second start over at first base today.
Lily Yepez, though, finds the gap up the middle. She's got her first hit in today's 2 games combined. Yepez, the freshman, with a big moment here against the number 2 team in the NCAA.
Well, Hofstra coming out aggressive. You saw Manto offer at the first 2 pitches. Yepez there, 1 pitch, base hit up the middle.
Hofstra has been getting some great pitching, but they just aren't getting the run support. First pitch, but pulled foul by Becca Valancourt off Cavan. Valancourt with stops at Fordham and UMass Lowell, now in her second and final year at Hofstra.
Well, you can hear the energy from the Hofstra dugout right now. They're coming into this game. There's nothing to lose. They might as well take their hacks.
Cavan still with time to get the lead out. Turning the double play. Tegan Cavan, her own best friend, with the inning ender. For head coach Mike White. Caden Henry, the freshman, leading things off against the senior Ogden. Hofstra just going with 4 infielders.
Well, the difference between Caden Henry and Chelsea Manto is Chelsea Manto primarily slaps, so she runs through the box and forces the defense to have to rush her throw. Caden Henry is going to stand in and hit more often than not. You will see a bunt, but you won't see her run through and slap. But yes, the 5 infielders right off the bat caught, I think, all of us by surprise.
Did you notice the wind just picked up now that the Longhorns have taken the field and have grabbed their bats?
You didn't know they have a dial in the dugout for that.
Henry, again among those who have trotted around the bases 3 times this year now, has gone deep. See if she can set the table here with a 2-1 offering pending from Ogden.
Her 3rd home run was an opposite field home run yesterday in game 2. First 2 came from 1 game against Stanford in Clearwater, Florida. She had a multi-home run game there.
With some heartbreaking losses already these past 2 days for Hofstra. It's going to be hard to get out of Austin with a win. We mentioned their next 2 games, including this one from Texas. Henry measuring it up and gone. Take your time, Caden Henry. For a 4th time already. She'll touch them all.
Well, Caden Henry can do it all. We saw her show bunt. She has the speed to beat it out, but with 2 strikes, she is a tough out, and this one just left over the plate. She's able to get all of it. The stature is not of a 6-foot athlete, but Caden Henry has power, and she flexes it there.
Talking to Mike White about his freshman back in the fall, he says, she reminds me of a player I already have. You want to know who that is? Oh, by the way, now batting Mia Scott.
And they're very similar, both of them actually coming from the same travel ball organization, the Texas Bombers, just down the road in New Braunfels, Texas. But the difference, Mia Scott uses her speed a little bit more than we'll see Caden Henry. Scott's speed so explosive. Not that Caden Henry isn't explosive and fast, she is. She was in the state track meet last year as a senior in high school, but Kaden Henry displays power a little bit more than Mia Scott does so far.
Mike White does say Mia Scott has the most talent he has ever coached. Already 2 times first team all Big 12.
The key is Mia Scott just getting on base, because herself alone can get her to second and possibly third. She creates so much havoc on the bases just by getting aggressive leads, forcing people to second guess their throws. I think at certain points during last year, I described her possibly running the bases like a wild banshee, because she just takes off, trusts her own instincts, and bets on herself. And 90% of the time, it works out.
Leadoff home run from Henry. Nobody on here, and some chin music. And Scott will wear that one. Officially, it's ball 4.
That pitch getting away from Ogden, getting up and in, but Mia Scott patient, working her count.
That gives way to the standout freshman, Katie Stewart. Went yard against Northwestern State. And has reached base safely all but 1 game this year.
Well, freshman who's in the heart of the lineup here against Texas, but when you watch her hit, her composure, her ability to control the at-bat is extremely mature. She does not take at-bats like a freshman, being overly aggressive. Very good process to each at-bat.
Mentioned second collegiate start now for the senior Ogden in the circle. Still looking for that first out here in the home half of the first inning. It was an early morning for the Pride. They were in the 10 a.m. game against Penn State. Nittany Lions came back in that one, and then had to come back again in extra innings against Tarleton State moments ago. Longhorns patiently waited to make their debut on this Saturday. Back-to-back walks of Scott and Stewart. And the cleanup hitter, Reese Atwood, is not the woman you want to face with a couple of her friends on the base paths. A 2-time National Player of the Week, putting her name in the hat to maybe claim some more honors.
She is on pace to possibly set the single season record for home runs here at Texas. That record currently 18, held by Taylor Hoagland. Reese Atwood already at 10. And yes, if you're head coach Adrian Clark, you're walking out to Marissa Ogden right now, talking to her about making sure we can throw strikes, but let's just not put it over the heart of the plate. You have a hitter who could make this a 4-run game rather quickly.
Now, sometimes we ask if a catcher can maintain that kind of offensive production. I know Mike White came into this year wanting to reduce her load a little bit behind the plate, but again, she'll continue to be the backstop here today. A home run from Henry, back-to-back walks of Scott and Stewart. Cleanup hitter coming up for Texas with 2 on and nobody out.
Well, talking about resting Reese Atwood a little bit, Katie Stewart got the start behind home plate Wednesday night against Texas State, as well as last night. Katie Simis got in some action behind the plate last night too, giving Reese Atwood some innings to keep those legs fresh.
Last year, all freshman Big 12 selection, the sophomore now. Anything but a sophomore slump. Left side, chance for 2, it goes through the wickets, all the way to the wall. It's going to score a pair of Longhorns. Mia Scott, Katie Stewart make their way around. It's 3-0 Texas, still nobody out. Atwood now in scoring position. Oh, Alana Morris thought she might have a chance to start a double play.
This is a ground ball that Morris should be able to make a play on. Mia Scott runs right in front of her, having to go on the force, avoids the ball, but you see Morris just not get in front of that ball, almost tries to field and toss at the same time. Tough break for Hofstra there.
2-base error on the shortstop. Makes way for Leanne Good. puts down the bunt. She's looking for a base hit. She's got it. Just because someone squares around doesn't mean they're trying to give themselves up for a cheap out. Well executed by the 5-hole hitter.
Well, Texas has speed up and down this lineup, and Leanne Good's one of them. If you're going to play her back, she's going to expose you. Great job taking that pitch down the first base line, where you see Kenton Zarita.
Last year was 11th in the nation with that right arm of hers. Just can't get good.
Great throw by Valancourt. That's a close play at second, closer than I thought it was going to be.
So I mentioned only one transfer for Mike White this year. It's Jolie Mitchell coming over from Notre Dame, where she was first team all ACC. Has 2 years remaining, though she's a senior. And she'll try to get this one to drop, but in foul territory. 383 hitter last year with Notre Dame. Power, average, and base stealing ability out there as well. Love the competitiveness she brings here in her new home in Austin.
Well, you talk about the holes that Jolie Mitchell could fill with Texas having the departure of Courtney Day, who was a middle of the lineup power hitter. And Jolie Mitchell and Katie Stewart sliding in to fill that offensive void.
Again, nobody on first, so there is no force at the plate. We'll see what the priority is for Hofstra. Already conceding 3 runs in the first. It all began with a solo blast from Caden Henry, the freshman. A couple of walks from Mia Scott and Katie Stewart scoring on an error committed in the infield. This one will be pulled foul. Atwood on third, Good on second. Mitchell, will this ball carry? It's going to be playable in foul territory, but misread it as Kayla Wilson cannot secure it. May have been a sacrifice fly if she had.
Well, and right now, if you're Hofstra, you need to get the outs any which way you can. So while, yes, this saves a run, Michaela Wilson definitely trying to get that first out for the Pride. I think the shadows of the building might have played some tricks on her there as she overruns that fly ball.
Payoff pitch to Mitchell. Boy, she was confident. That was ball 4, bases loaded for the Burnt Orange. Pisapia sees the first batter she faces in relief slip away.
I was impressed. Pisapia came out, attacked the strike zone, got 2 quick strikes on Jolie Mitchell, but Jolie Mitchell continuing to...
The captain, last night, deep, twice. Couldn't fight off the smile either time. Was all business for the first 2.5 bases, but when she saw her teammates at home on each occasion, that big grin broke through.
Well, and her first home run was the deepest part of the park, dead center field, so had to get all of it to get it out of here. And there you see home run number 2, just clearing the 212 sign out in left center.
Texas this year, 12 for 23 with bases loaded. That's the case here for Washington. Has she done it again? To the wall, caught. Just a little too much real estate, but it's a sac fly to bring home Reese Atwood. Oh. By the way, 1 out.
Well, Manto goes way back, finds the wall, stays with this one. Nice throw into third, too. If that one's so deep, she might have a play on Good at third.
Here's the 8th batter of the inning for Texas, Katie Simas. 2 in scoring position. Longhorns looking to add a little bit more to that crooked number here in the bottom of the first. Former state champion at Atascocita High School. Now in her junior year with Texas. Chopper left side. There's no force at home. Have to apply the tag. They're going to concede the out here. And this is what we call a good old-fashioned pickle. Plant the plate. 2 runs are going to score. Everything coming up. Burnt orange.
Well, the Hofstra Pride get what they want. A ground ball that can get into an out. Fitzgerald gets good in the rundown, but it's right here. As soon as Good's back, that throw to shortstop, or excuse me, to second baseman, Nicole Cancel. Cancel needed to look home right away. Instead, starts to run the runner back. Forces a rushed throw, overthrow, and Texas just keeps on running.
They had the lead runner. In the end, they had none, and Texas plates 2 more. A productive fielder's choice for Simmons, as she's now over on 3rd. Well, here's a chance to give yourself more insurance. Tegan Kavan. What am I saying? No, Ashton Maloney. That's what happens when you rush through with your scorebook.
Well, Ashton Maloney, a sophomore, has steadily just down there in the bottom of the lineup been able to turn the lineup over time and time again. Traditionally a slapper, so you're standing and swing on occasion, but controls the bat head well, able to play some soft slaps and beat them out, but as well can poke it through to the outfield.
Can I interest you in a 9-hole hitter hitting .367? It's an everyday starter for Mike White.
Well, so many last year talked about the freshman class of Citlali Gutierrez, Viviana Martinez, Leanne Good, often forgetting that Ashton Maloney was a freshman herself, having redshirted her first year on the 40 acres.
RBI bunt for a base hit. As the entire lineup for Texas has hit here in the first, including bunt singles from Maloney and Good. Caden Henry led off this inning with a solo blast. This time has a teammate on the base paths with 1 out. The only out this inning, the sac fly from Alyssa Washington. Even that was productive.
And that was probably about 4 feet short of leaving this ballpark.
And Texas has already chased the starter from the ball game for our Hofstra. Longhorns with the offensive explosion in both of their games yesterday. Just seeing the ball so well.
Well, a couple unfortunate breaks for the Hofstra Pride as well. 2-base error off the bat of Reese Atwood, and then Katie Simmons ground ball to third base, and they're unable to record an out.
It was the 4th home run on the year for Henry, 2nd in as many days. Mia Scott on deck. Your base runner, Maloney. One of 2 bunt singles this inning, and Henry retired. 2 away.
Well, Pasapia was really using the off-speed pitch there in that at-bat. She got Caden Henry chasing it for the first pitch, able to place it nicely there on the outer half for her first strikeout and looking.
Mia Scott will punch this one out towards left. Wilson underneath it. As Pasapia and Hofstra settle back in, but when they grab their bats for a second time, it's a 7-run. So you want to get back out there.
Well, solid 15-20 minutes is usually long enough that you have to start to go throw, make sure you're going to be sharp, because when you're going out there, your coach is going to expect you to attack the strike zone. But at the same time, emotionally, you want to be in the game with your teammates. So it's always fighting that fine line of being able to stay in there and stay in the emotions, but at the same time, keep your arm going. But rule of thumb, usually after 6 or 7 hitters, it's like, hey, go toss a little bit just to make sure you stay warm.
I mean, I even accused her falsely of bringing a bat to the plate at one point during all of that.
She might be excited that you had her in the hitting lineup.
Again, second game today for Hofstra. It's the only game of the day for Texas. They'll make up for lost time with an extra game on Monday against Penn State, as Penn State will be the last to leave town. Alia Catanzarita was 0 for 3 this morning against the Nittany Lions. A couple of flyouts and a strikeout. And she is ahead in the count, 3-1.
Catanzarita had the hot bat yesterday. 2 doubles. So Hofstra hoping she can get this second inning off to a good start.
Leadoff walk. Second base runner today for Hofstra. Texas was able to turn 2 last inning. The reason why Teagan still facing the minimum.
Batting fifth, the designated player number 99, Olivia Malinowski.
That'll make way for the junior Malinowski. Or head coach Adrian Clark. Again, Kavan facing the Hofstra lineup for the first time through. This is your 5-hole hitter. Be followed by Mackenzie Fitzgerald.
Well, right now, Hofstra doing a good job of trying to keep Kavan in the zone. That screwball tailing up a little bit, and Hofstra not chasing it. See, she brings that down in the zone, and Malinowski more aggressive at it.
In both of these teams in the NCAA tournament last year, Texas making it all the way to the Knoxville Super Regional. Hofstra went to, I'm told there's a city in Oklahoma called Norman.
Well, yeah, you get excited that you win your conference tournament, and then regional bids come out, and you see your name pop up right under the bracket with Oklahoma, and you might take a second guess and a deep breath, like, okay, that's where we're getting sent.
Kavan battles back after the walk. The strikeout of Malinowski.
Well, Kavan going to her changeup here. You see this drops out in the zone, and Malinowski actually offered at this the first strike of the at-bat. Great job by Kavan using that off-speed pitch.
That'll give way to Mackenzie Fitzgerald. Looking for her first hit in today's 2 games for the Pride. Again, they won their conference tournament. That meant that those seniors last year did in fact claim a ring, which was often a given with the great rich history that Hofstra's had over the years. They'd had a drought for a few years. I believe that freshman class has promised Adrian Clark that's going to be the first of 4 rings that their class is going to secure for her.
Have to be careful what you promise, but yes, that outgoing senior class didn't want to be the first to go out with a conference title of some sort, so is able to make a run in the NCAA tournament.
Can't be too disappointed if you're ousted by the Crimson and Cream. A lot of good teams saw their season come to an end at the expense of that run. This one launched into left. It's going to get down. Backhanded snag by Mia Scott. And at the very least, that prevents both runners from taking an extra 60 feet. Well played by Scott. But a base hit for Fitzgerald.
Well, Mia Scott has tremendous speed, and let's tip our hat. Fitzgerald does a great job of driving this ball down the line, but almost looks like she might think about laying out, but realizes she's not going to reach it. Great job cutting that off. If that gets to the wall, then Hofstra has 2 in scoring position.
So 2 on for the Pride with 1 out.
Well, Mackenzie Fitzgerald gets a hit right there, and that is just the 2nd hit of the year off of Teagan Kavan when Kavan has 2 strikes on the hitter.
Here's Kayla Wilson batting out of the 7th spot against the Longhorns.
That 2-strike stat, courtesy of our friends at 643 Charts and our amazing statistician. I probably said that. I butchered that.
We'll go back and fix it in post.
Our stat guy.
Our guy, Kurt. 2 on for the Pride, trailing by 7 here in the top of the second. Texas plated 7 in the home half of the first, including the leadoff home run from your center fielder, Caden Henry. Hofstra just trying to claw some runs back here early. They want to avoid a similar fate as the first two teams Texas has faced here in the Longhorn Invitational.
Well, they came out aggressive in the first inning, swinging early in the count, putting some good bat on the ball, just unable to come up with runs. But right now, 2 runners on. Kayla Wilson battling.
Wilson fights off the 2-2 from Kavan.
They have energy, and despite the 7 spot Texas put up in the first, they're not going quietly.
2 on, 1 out for Hofstra. 2 on and 2 out for Hofstra. Second strikeout for Teagan.
Well, Kavan uses that changeup again, but this time in the zone, and Kayla Wilson just fooled, watches this on the outer half. Knee height, that's a pitch you have to fight off if you're a hitter. But again, Kavan, that off-speed pitch is a difference maker.
Sophomore Alana Morris, last year all-rookie team, as they throw behind Fitzgerald. Atwood forcing Fitzgerald to get a little dirt on those white pants.
Well, with that swing, Alana Morris makes it 8 of 8 first pitch swings for Hofstra so far in this game.
A lot of aspiring umpires making their way out for this third game of the day. Pitch off the mark, 1-1. Leadoff walk for Catanzarita. She's on second right now, following the 1-out single from Fitzgerald. The strikeout of Wilson, 2 on, 2 out. See if the Pride can find their first runs of the ball game against number 2 Texas. Just got a piece of it.
And there, a little curveball from Kavan, trying to run it away from Morse here. Got the big swing and miss on that pitch for the first strike of this at bat.
Second straight weekend at home for Texas, but all in all, fewer weekends this season at McCombs. Got him. Kavan bounces back and strands a pair of runners for Hofstra.
Hit the ball hard, gets defenses to rush, be on their heels a little bit. But Hofstra gonna look to bounce back, have a little bit more solid, decent defensive play this half inning.
So again, Pisapia came in relief and ultimately would see 6 batters last inning. She continues in the circle. Here's Katie Stewart, who walked and scored last inning, facing Pisapia for the first time. And Stewart, part of this talented freshman class.
Back-to-back freshman classes ranked in the top 5 recruiting classes for Coach White and his staff.
Yeah, today's lineup has exactly 2 seniors and 1 junior in it. Not going to be a lot of turnover going into their first year of the SEC next year.
Well, and with that, Julie Mitchell classified as a senior academically, but has 2 years of school, so technically a junior athletically.
The 3-1 to Stewart. Count will go full to the DP.
Big hack there by Stewart.
See the recruiting under Mike White. It has already translated to postseason success. This one skyward off the bat of Stewart, up in the sun. And ultimately, Chelsea Manto able to squeeze that in. That sun has plagued a variety of center fielders today, but Manto able to track it down and follow it to her glove.
Well, Hofstra already excited being able to record that first out a lot quicker than in the first inning. Pisapia doing a good job mixing speeds, mixing both sides of the plate.
Here's Reese Atwood, who shot one through the legs of the shortstop, officially 0 for 1, but would score in that first inning. Yet Texas brought 7 batters to the plate before the first out was recorded last inning. Already a much better start for Pisapia and Hofstra. Question is, when will everybody start pitching around Reese Atwood? Problem is, she has a lot of protection right behind her in the lineup.
Well, you have Katie Stewart ahead of her, and if there ever becomes a potential where Reese Atwood might start getting the intentional walks, you can always move her up, put Katie Stewart behind her. But at the same time, Leanne Good, who was not starting in the lineup opening day due to coming off a wrist surgery in the fall, starting to heat up, and it's good protection on the backside of Reese Atwood as well. And really, there's no place of let up in this offensive lineup for Texas. Such a deep roster this year, something they haven't had the advantage of in years past. But when you look at who's on the bench today, you have Viviana Martinez, Bellum Dayton, Victoria Hunter, who's hitting above 400. It's just a plethora of bats ready to go on the bench for Mike White and Steve Singleton.
1 out, nobody on. Payoff pitch from Pisapia. Got the strikeout, dropped third strike, 2 away.
Well, looking at a full count, just her second full count of the season, but Reese Atwood chasing this changeup low and inside. Nice pitch by Pisapia to change the speeds, drop it out, but also keep it tight on Reese Atwood. There's one thing glaring in Reese Atwood's stat line, it's that she does not walk a lot, so you know she's going to be aggressive as a hitter.
That makes way for the previously referenced freshman All-American last year, second team All-Big 12, Leanne Good, product out of San Antonio's O'Connor High School, the former Panther. Her mom played her college ball in San Antonio for those Roadrunners of UTSA. We saw UTSA here during the fall. And missed that with her injury that she was coming back from. She'll slip behind the count 1 and 2 to Pisapia.
Well, Pisapia and Hofstra right now pitching a little bit backwards. A lot of changeups coming out of Pisapia's hand, not allowing Texas to get comfortable knowing when she might throw one in there with a little bit more speed. Changeup also dropping out of the zone.
Good had 1 of 2 bunt singles last inning. No signs of that here, especially with 2 strikes now.
Great challenge pitch right there by Pisapia.
Can she work a 3 up, 3 down? Good not helping her out on that one. Count goes full with 2 outs, nobody on. Payoff pitch from Pisapia. They're going to do it again. That is a long foul ball.
Pisapia doesn't throw the ball extremely hard, so she's high 50s, low 60s, which allows Texas to be a little bit more on time. But when you pitch backwards and throw so many off-speed pitches, it still keeps Texas ahead of the game.
She'll straighten this one out off of the wall. Leanne Good with a 2-out base hit to extend this second inning. 2 for 2 today.
Well, Good expecting this changeup, and it's over the heart of the plate. She drives this so hard off the left field wall, only able to get herself a single, longest single of the game so far.
Makes way for the pride of Rosebud, Arkansas. Julie last year at one point had a 15-game hitting streak, 35-game on-base streak. At her last stop, Notre Dame. See her numbers with Texas. Walk and run scored last inning for Mitchell. See if she can keep this little 2-out rally going after the single from Good.
When Mitchell's not in the starting lineup, she is a big RBI producer off the bench for Coach White and the Longhorns.
The 1-1 from Pisapia.
A big pinch hit single on Wednesday down in San Marcos to produce the lone run off of the Texas State Bobcats.
Yeah, what were the Bobcats doing right?
Well, that's always a tough game. When you play Texas State, they come in with energy against you, and being at home, they had a blackout sellout, and so emotions were running high, but also have one of the strongest arms in the circle, and senior Jessica Mullins, who threw a phenomenal game against Texas Wednesday night.
Were any trains harmed?
None were harmed. How many went through? That's up for debate.
We've got a construction zone here in Austin. They've got train tracks in that softball, baseball facility. That one low around the ankles of Jolie Mitchell. Moments ago, the 2-out single from Leanne Good, 1 on with 2 away in the second. As construction workers know better than to stick around when the Longhorns are at the plate, especially after last night. Runner is going. A great jump, but a better throw. Becca Valancourt, as advertised here this week in Texas. Good
The scoring started last night with a home run of her own, but another stellar freshman class for the Longhorns and Coach White.
Just one batter left in this lineup for Hofstra that Tegan Kavan has not faced yet. That is the 9-hole Nicole Cancel, your second baseman for Hofstra. As our home plate umpire, Keith Kearney, is going to buy Reese Atwood a little bit of time. Courtesy paid to the catcher after ball able to find her on a tough angle. Kavan with 3 strikeouts last inning, worked her way out of trouble after the leadoff walk and surrendering a single as well. As Hofstra stranded 2. And then what an inning for Pisapia. Ultimately just faces 3 Longhorns. Good caught stealing. That means, again, Mitchell will instead have a fresh at bat the next half inning. The 1-2 from Kavan. Now 4 strikeouts in her start today.
4 strikeouts, 3 straight. We saw her use the off-speed pitch in the second inning this time, and just straight going with a little bit of a curveball away.
And again, we are back to 5 players in the infield. Scott will join the infield, playing between short and second. The outfielders will shift to their left. Hitting it over the right side. Good to Simas. So trying to beat the shift, but a good return on the investment. Just 1 pitch, able to get the out. 2 away.
Well, here comes the defensive shift from Texas again. Back to the 5 infielders.
They're going to reset the clock, I believe, because no, pardon me, it's a delay on the batter. That's a strike. I thought something about the shift had held things up, but understandably, it's the batter there, not in the box in the first 10 seconds. And all of a sudden, you see 1 pitcher in an 0-2 hole.
Yeah, well, I actually thought they were going to call time on Texas for not being in position and causing a delay there, but Manto has to be in the box while that shift is still coming to fruition.
1-2.
Interesting, though, because they didn't put the shift on for Manto. They put the shift on now for Ypez, who singled up the middle, actually to the second base side, her first at bat.
That one just gets over the screen. If we were at Gregory Gym, that would be a let's serve. Here at McCombs, it's a memory for a young Longhorn fan. Half swing, full out. 3 up, 3 down. Longhorns looking to add to a 7-0 Adrian Clark. And Coach, again, coming into this weekend against chance to see how your team performs against a variety of opponents, including the #2 team in the nation. What do you hope to get out of this weekend before you dive into conference play?
Honestly, just to compete hard. I think we learned a lot from these experiences, and they set us up to have a lot of confidence once we hit conference.
Following up on that, obviously 2 very close games for you guys. Not the outcome you want, but what has been the conversation with your team after those 2 contests?
Honestly, to stick to the process. You know, this is a very long season. If we start getting wrapped up in these losses right now, it's going to make it for a very long season. So as long as we're competing hard and trusting the process, we'll be right where we're supposed to be.
Appreciate your time as always, Coach.
Thank you.
And again, her players can certainly relate to her. She swung a bat, she threw the ball. 2-way player, her time at Hofstra. Pisapia out of the bullpen in that first inning. Faced the minimum last inning. Here's Jolie Mitchell, who was at the plate when Leanne Good was caught stealing.
Well, Mitchell, the first hitter Pisapia saw in the first inning.
That was a walk. Mitchell would ultimately score that inning. Not chasing that one.
Pisapia still trying to use that off-speed pitch. She had really good command of it in the second inning. Trying to continue to use that to keep Texas out in front a bit. Unable to rein in the control of that so far against Jolie Mitchell.
Mitchell came to Texas with 17 home runs in her career. Has already added a couple here on the 40 acres. Second walk today. Longhorns continue to be #2 in the land behind the defending champs.
Well, and there you see this week's poll, but there's some shakeups already. Tennessee lost to Stetson today. Clemson dropped 1 to NC State. Not there in the top 10, but Alabama dropped to South Alabama.
I'm told that Stanford team's pretty good.
They were here in Austin last weekend. They have a stud pitcher of their own, Nija Kennedy.
The captain, Washington, again with a surge off her bat. Comes up just short. As no sac fly this time around.
Other upsets, Michigan upsets Florida 10-2. So a lot of parity, a lot of shakeups going on in Division I softball.
Katie Simmons reached on a fielder's choice back in the first, would ultimately have a chance to come around and score the most recent run for Texas, part of that 7-run first inning. Mentioned the next team on Texas's schedule is Hofstra. The next team on Hofstra's schedule is Texas. They will kick us off tomorrow for day 3 of the Longhorn Invitational. This will get down for a 1-out base hit. Mitchell down to second, 2 on with 1 away.
We'll mention Katie Simmons back-to-back starts last night and today, just her 4th start of the year, but really offensively starting to catch fire. Earned herself a couple walks, but also now solid single out into left field.
All right, Mike White is going to dip into his dugout. Let's see what he has in mind. Ashton Maloney had a bunt single out of the 9 spot back in the first inning. A fan favorite here in the 9 spot. As Haley Venturini, the 2-time Gatorade High School Player of the Year out of Rhode Island, in the circle.
Junior comes in, throws that off-speed pitch. First pitch, change up there for strike 1 against Whitaker. Look like change a little bit of pace here. Big key is Venturini, not a lot of strikeouts on the year, more pitches to contact, so gonna have to get some weak contact off the bat of Whitaker.
They're gonna run for Katie Simmons now. It's going to be Adea Wallace.
Number 4, Adea Wallace.
Wallace out of Plano West High School, the freshman. Which student body do you think is bigger, Plano West or Hofstra? I think Hofstra might have maybe a couple dozen more.
I was saying maybe a little bit, but Plano West pretty big.
Plano West outside of Dallas.
There's probably a number of high schools in Texas that could rival the population of
Your
some
neck of the woods
colleges.
for a while kept producing one 6A school after another the moment they would open their doors. Again, the pinch hitter Whitaker facing the third pitcher of the game, Venturini, for Hofstra. Mitchell, the runner, on second after her leadoff walk. The pinch runner Wallace in for Simmons at first. Whitaker, shallow center, it gets down. Play at the plate. Longhorns looking for that 8th run. They've got it. Going from first to third, the pinch runner Wallace on the single from Jordan Whitaker, the pinch hitter.
Well, Whitaker gets just enough of this up in the zone, able to muscle this out into shallow center field. You see Coco Cancel give chase, but too deep for her. Julie Mitchell had to make sure that someone wasn't making a diving play. That throws on the other side of the bag. That might be a close play at the plate for the Hofstra Pride, but
Mentioned Jordan's not going to do a lot of running, so Maloney re-enters. Wallace and Maloney, now your base runners on the corners.
well, Jordan Whitaker gets put in to do one job and one job only. That's hit and drive in RBIs. She got her job done, so her day will be done, as Ashton Maloney, you mentioned, re-enters. Doesn't have to be a home run, doesn't have to be a line shot. You just make things happen. You get to count that as a success for today.
Caden Henry made things happen in the first. That solo shot to give Texas a lead. Since then, she has seen 7 teammates follow her. Jolie Mitchell has now scored twice in this ball game. And she's facing Venturini for the first time. One out, only second base unoccupied. As Valancourt will keep it in front of her. We've seen her catch a couple of runners stealing today alone. A Nittany Lion and a Longhorn.
Right now, if I'm Venturini, I'm coming back with an off-speed pitch. Caden Henry barely was able to foul the last one off.
That'll get through. Another run coming home. Wallace, the pinch runner. Long throw home is going to allow Henry now to be standing in scoring position as well. Maloney goes from first to third.
Well, instead, Venturini tries to go inside, gets that up in the zone. Henry stays up with it. This a single to center field, but this throw doesn't hit a cut prior to the middle of the infield, which allows Caden Henry, aggressive base running, put herself in scoring position at second base.
That means no chance for a traditional double play ball. Mia Scott now with 2 teammates in scoring position. A 9-run lead for Texas with just 1 out in the third. Mia Scott, a walk and a fly out both in that first inning, as well as a run scored. The 6th Longhorn this inning to face Venturini.
Venturini trying to expand the zone Just not competitive pitches right now against the Longhorns.
That's going to find the gap. 2 more Longhorns going to make their way back to the dugout. A 1-out, 2-run double for Mia Scott. Maloney and Henry are home.
When you give the Longhorns a hitter's count, they're going to be aggressive with their swings. This pitch on the inner half, but elevated in the zone. Mia Scott able to drive that to right center. Hofstra, lucky she hit that as hard as she did. If that's a little bit slower, Mia Scott's going to round and try.
Number 2 softball, number 3 women's basketball. Times are tough on the 40 acres.
Real tough. Women's sports, not the only ones making noise, but.
And Vic Schaefer's women are doing that without Rory Harmon.
I mean, that
just incredible.
Comment a couple times recently that I thought that Rory Harmon going out was going to be a little bit more detrimental, but Texas women's basketball able to keep pace.
And I apologize, Coach Harmon. She has adopted a new role leading that team on the bench. Katie Stewart still ahead in the count, 2-1 here, facing Venturini. Again, we saw Marissa Ogden, today's starting pitcher for this game, warming up, perhaps looking to re-enter. Right now, Mia Scott, your only base runner, just brought 2 more Longhorns home with her double.
Venturini getting inside there on Katie Stewart. She's not able to get her barrel out in front. Lincoln, you and I were talking about the grad housing replacing the parking lot, or well, really field of grass that used to be out there. And
Stewart shoots one through. They will test the arm of Manto coming home. They cut it off. Mia Scott scores on the RBI single from Katie Stewart, who rudely interrupted Kat Osterman.
I will gladly pause for action in our softball game. This pitch up in the zone, but not in tight enough to get Katie Stewart. She's able to get the barrel to that one and drive it up to center field. Could have been a close play at the plate if they hadn't cut that one. Chelsea Manto's throw on line.
Well, it's actually going to be Anna Butler who will step into the circle here. We saw Anna briefly in the game against Penn State. And just in the bottom of the third, 4th pitcher for Hofstra. Texas 12 runs on 9 hits. Mentioned Butler. Her dad played football for Hofstra. Mom played softball on the island up there in New York. And now back to softball. Reese Atwood set to greet Anna Butler. Atwood is 0 for 2. Off the glove. She'll take it. Quiroga down to second. Atwood, your runner on first. That is a single off the glove of Butler. And you figure from there it was all in slow motion for Butler.
Well, a lot of times as a pitcher, those line drives come back at you and they're not as hard as they look. They actually kind of almost knuckle and you get caught panicking because you can't see exactly where it's coming. You also assume it's coming harder, so reflex is to flinch a little bit, but.
See the 5th appearance on the year for Butler. That includes earlier today against Penn State. Leanne Good, the 9th batter of the inning for Texas. They brought 11 in the first, officially 3 in the second. They have found 5 more runs here in the third.
key for Hofstra pitching right now has been the fact that they're, I should say, the downfall of Hofstra pitching right now is the fact they've been allowing Texas to get into hitters' counts. They haven't been pounding the zone real well. When they did, it was Casipia with that changeup. But since then, a lot of 2-1, 3-1 counts, and Texas being aggressive and being able to capitalize.
Hofstra just a couple of timely hits away from being 2-1 this weekend. Instead, 0 for 3. Good. Left side. And what could have possibly had the upside of a double play ball, at least to get you the second out. Everybody's safe. Bases loaded.
Well, there's 2 hitters for Butler that should be outs, both a line drive at her and now a ground ball to Morse. This is where, as a defense, you need to come together, take a deep breath. You don't need a standout play, but you have to be able to make the routine plays, record outs when you can get them against an offense like Texas.
Jolie Mitchell's second time to the plate this inning. It'll be a sacrifice fly after her walk and run scored earlier this inning. As Quiroga, the pinch runner, comes home. Throw down to second, got her. As the Longhorns will run themselves out of the inning, but not before they find 6 insurance runs for Tegan Cavan. Putting for 7 runs in the first, tacking on 6 more in the third. And the newest bat for Texas will be Victoria Hunter, a freshman from Houston.
Well, Hunter, another powerful bat in this freshman class. We talked about Caden Henry and Katie Stewart, but you see there 474 batting average, the 2 home runs. She had one last weekend, deadline shot out to the bleachers out there in right field.
Did they mess up the paperwork? She has seen a pitch, it was ball 1, then they prolonged conversation. Good to go.
Well, she went up to bat, and I don't think Coach White had actually entered her, and if she were to put the ball in play without that being reported, Adrian Clark could come out and ask for it to be converted to an out, but Coach White getting his substitutions in there.
Victoria, as a freshman, already brings some power into this lineup. A goal in the fall was getting her more and more at bats, more and more opportunities, including this one. From St. Pius X over in Houston. He bats here in the 7-hole for the captain. Just underneath this one. Morse will give way to the left fielder. Wilson, 1 away. That'll make way for your first baseman turned catcher, Katie Simas, who has scored twice today, or she's come up reach base twice. They did pinch run with her with Wallace after her single last inning. But it's been production up and down this order for the Longhorns today. Batting a modest 471 now on the season. Not bad for an 8-hole hitter. Back to center, Manto to the warning track. Able to use both hands for out number 2.
Well, Manto's been busy out there in center field, and what I like is she drop steps and goes. She gets on her horse, gets back to the warning track, if necessary, finds the wall, but she does not float. This ball, a deep fly ball, the 3rd one we've seen off the Texas bats. But allows her to be able to see the sun, be behind the ball. Center fielder with a lot of range.
Back to Ashton Maloney in the 9-hole. They pinch hit for her with Whitaker, then Maloney re-entered to run. Remained in right field and now back at the plate for a second time. She had a bunt single back in that first inning.
Good eye. Here you go, Ash. Here you go, Ash.
Maloney, a former state champion in soccer. Of Liberty, Missouri. And just able to get that off the glove of Cancel. 2-out base hit for Maloney. Time for the top of the order for Texas.
Well, Maloney, redshirt sophomore, so was in a year earlier than last year's freshman class, but actually highly recruited, made the junior national team the summer before she was supposed to start here at Texas. However, about a month after being named to that junior national team, tore her ACL, unable to participate with Team USA. But the good part for Texas is she was able to get surgery, rehab, and hasn't missed a beat.
And back to the top of the lineup for the Longhorns. Caden Henry is 2 for 3. The first of those hits, the solo shot to kick off a 7-run bottom of the first. Her 4th home run as a Longhorn. Atwood pursuing some Taylor Hoagland numbers, but this was Hoagland's spot in the lineup back in the day. Barry Brigé Washington at the 2 spot. Taylor Tom batting 3rd. And you talk about depth. Just this year's incredible. Part of that is because last year's freshman class has matured into sophomore leaders, and now this year's freshman class living up to expectations.
Well, and even then, you saw Jordan Whitaker, the senior, come off the bench. You see Bella Mitchell there in the middle of the dugout, another senior that's offensively been able to produce for the Longhorns. Just top to bottom, you have hitters that are able to come in and contribute one way or another. As Coach White said, if someone starts to cool off a little bit, there's someone behind them that's able to come in and stir the pot. And right now, Katie Simmons has been that person, getting her 4th start of the year, but offensively been able to contribute the last 2 games for the Longhorns.
Butler in the circle, the 2-2. Not tempting. The count goes full with 2 outs. Moments ago, the 2-out base hit from Maloney to allow Caden Henry to reemerge at the plate here in the 4th inning. Back-to-back Longhorns reach with 2 outs. The walk to Henry.
We saw Anna Butler in game 1, and the reason her appearance was very short-lived was a lot of free passes. So far, been able to attack the strike zone against Texas. Not just the first free pass issued to her, but gonna have to settle back down with 2 runners on base. Try to secure this 3rd out for the Pride.
That 2-run double for Scott just last inning.
Scott hitting .455 with 2 outs. An athlete who doesn't bat an eye. Talk about pressure situations. Went 4 for 4 against UCLA on the biggest stage in college softball at the College World Series her freshman year.
First 2 batters, a couple of flyouts this inning. A couple of outs for Butler, but that 3rd out's been hard to come by here in the 4th. But still a chance to get out of this 4th inning without any damage done. The 1-2 to Scott. This is going to carry and drop into the glove of Cancel. Longhorns will strand a pair, unable to add to the Baker's dub. The bench for the Longhorns.
Well, and has started the year at shortstop, but again, given her a little bit, probably more of a mental break than anything the last game and a half. But also, sophomores often try to recreate their freshman year, put a little bit too much pressure on themselves. So, Vivi Martinez getting a chance to take a rest, but now get back out there, make some plays.
Let me know if you recognize any of these names. Vivi Martinez, Janae Jefferson, Kat Osterman, red, white, and blue. Pretty good representation for the Longhorns in recent years with the national program.
Vivi Martinez got to go over to Japan with the Japan All-Star team that the women's national team put together. Good experience for her. Janae Jefferson currently on the women's national team that won a world championship 2 years ago and competed at stage 1 of the World Cup last summer.
Mackenzie Fitzgerald has not been retired today. She's 1 for 1. It's just now her 2nd plate appearance. After singling back in the 2nd, comes up here in the 5th. Hofstra on notice down to their final 3 outs. If they can't pull within 8.
Fitzgerald getting her hacks in. Working some timing against Sophia Simpson.
Simpson just the 2nd pitcher used in this game after the start from Kavan. A combined 2-hit shutout thus far. Simpson with the strikeout of Fitzgerald.
Well, Simpson, another drop on the outer half. This pitch just blown by Fitzgerald there. Good job by Simpson to go ahead and attack the strike zone with 2 strikes.
They're going to pinch hit for Kayla Wilson. This will be Chelsea Villar. We saw the freshman earlier today against Penn State. Again, these two teams will face each other tomorrow morning as well to begin our 3rd day of the Longhorn Invitational. All 3 games tomorrow back here on Longhorn Network, as will be the lone game between Texas and Penn State on Monday.
For Hofstra, batting for Kayla Wilson, number 42, Chelsea Villar.
Coach White talking about the depth that Texas has and the ability to bring athletes off the bench to contribute. And Coach Adrienne Clark, a young bench, so she's taking the reverse role, bringing opportunities to allow these athletes to get in, get comfortable, get adjusted to Division I softball. As we mentioned, they did start a week later than everybody, so a little less opportunities to get those at-bats in so far for the Hofstra Pride.
Meanwhile, our LHN crew in full regular season form, led by producer Heather Wilson along with Chris Ohlmeyer, directing the shots. Always thrilled to be surrounded by so much talent here. Big thanks to everybody on site. 3 full days of softball, though Texas, every time they take the field, determined to just play about 5.
Well, Simpson known for her changeup, and there we see it, first strike 3. Villar just not able to lay off that as it drops out of the zone. Sophia Simpson so far 3 strikeouts in 2 innings.
And Sultan, the freshman, will pinch hit again here in the 2nd game of the day.
For Hofstra, now batting for Alana Morse, number 14, Gabriella Sultan.
Simpson has struck out the first 2 batters here in the 5th. Longhorns are 1 out away from improving to 3-0 this weekend. At the moment, your game-winning run, Caden Henry, first batter of the bottom of the 1st, a solo blast, her 4th home run of the year. 12 more runs would follow.
Well, the freshman moving to the leadoff spot to start this tournament last night. Texas been using her down in the 7, 8, 9 spots.
Pride down to their final out. A couple of heartbreaking losses these first 2 days, an 0-3 start. They're going to have just 1 game left in Austin. It'll be tomorrow, and it'll be against these Longhorns once again. 2 teams that were in the NCAA tournament a year ago. Pitch finds the barrel of the bat. They'll do it again. A 1-2 count to the pinch hitter, Sultan.
I think that was kind of an excuse me check swing for Sultan to keep alive.
If Sultan can keep this inning alive, at the moment, second baseman Nicole Cancel is on deck. I believe they actually have Dahlia Palacio ready to pinch hit if needed. The 2-2 from Simpson. Simpson strikes out the side to seal the deal. Longhorns 3-0 to start these first 2 days at the Longhorn Invitational.
Well, we saw Simpson use a drop, use a change, and this time she goes with the rise to get the freshman Sultan secure that 5 inning victory.